your social security number or your spouse's social security number for other people to see. Why? Why?
It's privacy.
Yeah, it's privacy, but why is it so important that you don't do it?
Because there's our information.
It's information that people can use and steal your identity and cause you big problems. Then the next one is home address. Home address. It says number, street, and P.O. box. Number means the number of your street. So it goes like this.
3885. Almost next. And one thing.
Remember this one?
Yes, street.
Coming at the end of a word, it means street.
Yeah.
This is actually the address where I was born. That's not my address, but I'm just using it. And then what did it say? P.O. box. What does P.O. stand for?
Post office.
Post office box. If you get your mail at the post office. And then of course, city or town.
City.
And then state and zip code. City or town. So it depends. This is for those of you that live, all of you here, either you're in Detroit or Hamtramck. Anyone live in a different city? Anyone? What is a town? Pardon?
The center of the city. The center of city.
It's, what is the difference between a town and a city?
City is small.
City is bigger. An area, a place where people live, if they would like to become a city, they file with the state to get designation of a city. And there's rules for how a city must be run. So a town, another name for town in the USA is village. Village. Do you know the word village?
Yes.
A village is a small gathering place where people live. Yes. With less rules, maybe someone to help them organize the government. But there's also in Michigan an area, a term called a township, which is like a town, but instead of everybody being in one place in the town, maybe a store, maybe a post office, maybe not, maybe a gas station, all living drugstore, but a township is house, 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 and they all have certain things they must do together, but they don't all live in the same area. Township. So you will see that term. Moving on. State.
Michigan.
Each state is going to have 2 letters, capital letters. Yeah. And zip code, we all know that. And then school district code. If you live in, I forgot what the code number is, but if you live in Hamtramck, there is a code number.
4821.
School code. It's not the zip code. Zip code is what you get in the mail.
Yeah.
The school code is what the school district, has. Going down here to Number 5, do we see number 5?
Yes.
It says state campaign fund. Do we see that?
Yeah.
Check. What does check mean?
Oh.
Okay. That's a check. Yeah. Some people will do this. Check. Yeah. Usually this is considered a check. If it says put an X, which one?
X.
If it says put an X in a box, you do this.
Yes.
If it says fill in the box, what do you do? Fill in. Then the next part, it says, if you and your spouse, if filing a joint return, want $3 of your taxes to go to this fund, it will not increase your tax or reduce your refund. It means that you are asking the state to spend $3 to go into the state campaign fund. And then it says here for the filer and spouse. Number 6, farmers. What is a farmer?
Farmers who work in the farm.
Person who works on the farm. Fisherman.
What's a fish?
Seafarer. What is a seafarer?
Living in the seaside.
You got the sea right, but this is a job. These are jobs. Farmer, that's what they do. They grow vegetables, raise cows,
Who
chickens.
is traveling on ship.
A person who travels on the ship. So you notice if you look down in the Detroit River, you see those big ships going through, there's people that work on there. Seafarers. And check this box. If 2/3 of your income is from farming, fishing, or seafaring, what does that mean? 2/3.
More than 70% of your income. Yeah.
66.6% is 2/3. 2 out of 3. It makes a difference in the return. I don't think it applies. Is anyone here a farmer? Was anyone here ever a farmer? Never?
In the past?
Yes.
Yeah, I was.
You were a farmer?
We have farm.
Me too. So we have that in common.
Great job.
It was a great job.
Yeah.
What did you like about it? Was it animals or was it
trees.
vegetables?
Vegetables. Mango, orange.
Mangoes,
Palm.
oranges, palm trees.
Yeah.
Sounds nice. It must have been warm climate because mangoes, warm climate. Oranges, warm climate. Michigan, no mangoes, no oranges.
Because cold.
It's too cold. Apples, yes. Pears, yes. Bananas, yes or no?
No.
No bananas. No bananas in Michigan. Sorry. Go to the grocery store. Then down here on number 7, once again, look here, filing status. What does the word status mean? Status.
That's
Means your position.
position is.
Yes, your position. And this is the position for these people filling it out. Are you single? What does that mean?
No wife.
Not married. Letter B, married filing jointly. What does that mean?
Together.
Together. Married filing separately.
Nothing together.
Not together.
Yeah.
Form. 2 different forms. And then it says if that little mark in front of if you check box C, that's called an asterisk. They look like this. Asterisk. Means pay special attention. Then let's go over here to 8. It says residency status.
Where are you living?
What does residency mean?
Where are you living?
Legal. Living area.
Departures. Residence. What is your residence?
It says what is your residency? What do you put in? Your address.
Are you a resident in Michigan?
Yes.
A resident is a person. This is the person.
A resident.
Now, if I said to you, how many residents live in your house or apartment? That means all the people living there. Okay? All the people living there. Doesn't mean they could be friends, could be relatives, could be spouse, could be children. The people living there, resident. Says A says resident, B says non-resident. Yes. What does that mean?
Non-resident.
Non-resident. It says it's an asterisk over there.
Maybe someone from Michigan but she living in another country.
That's correct. Yeah. Yeah. And then letter C says part-year resident. What does that mean?
You're living sometime in
Part of the year you live there, and part of the year somewhere else. At that address. And it says if this is the case, you need to fill out another form. Schedule NR. Now let's go down here to number 9. Do we see number 9?
Yes.
Exemption. Yes. Exemption. What does that word mean, exemption? Exception. An exception means that each person is an exception somewhere. It means that the state says everybody is allowed something. Everyone should be an exception for someone. So for example, for my wife and I, we have 2 exceptions. Okay? But if my wife decides she's not going to fill out the same form with me, no joint income tax return. She wants to do her own. So I would say, my tax form has 1 exception. Her tax form has 1 exception. Each person has 1. Because the state allows you to make so much money before they say, now you have to start paying taxes. So they give you that exemption. Exemptions are people that you are responsible for. So for example, children, adults that live with you, you care for them, and it's a legal status. Yeah. Going down here, words that are in here, dependent. We just did that, someone who depends on you for care. And each person gets how much money as an exemption? How much does it say? Number 9. What's the number?
Then
How much? I hear it. 1,500. 1,500. So if a person makes $1,500 in a year and that's it, you're not going to pay any taxes whatsoever. No. Then going down here to A says number of exemptions, add them all up. Then letter B says number of individuals who qualify for one of the special exemptions. What's that first term? Deaf. What does that mean?
don't have.
Can't hear. It's a legal term. Okay. And my wife says to me, "Ah, are you deaf?" She's saying, you don't hear very well, which is true. But deaf is a legal term that you must get from your doctor. Same thing with the next one. Blind. You can't see, blind. But it's a legal term. Just because you don't see well doesn't mean you're blind. But it means the doctor says you are legally blind. Next word is hemiplegic. Hemiplegic. Do you see that one?
Yeah.
Hemiplegic means can't move either the top or the bottom. So if I have no control of my legs, I'm hemiplegic. But the next one is paraplegic. Paraplegic. These are all legal terms. Hemiplegic, I forgot which one. Paraplegic means half again. And the second one is quadriplegic, which means 4 parts. 4 parts. So hemiplegic, I forgot which one is which. Hemiplegic means half, right side, left side. Paraplegic means lower legs. Quadriplegic means can't move hands, can't move legs, and someone is fixed in a wheelchair. These are by legal definition from your doctor. and totally and permanently disabled. What does totally mean?
All.
Everything.
Yeah, everything.
Permanently. What does permanently mean? Permanently.
Part, not all.
Any idea?
All the time. All one.
Forever.
Forever.
Forever. Forever. Okay. Permanently means forever. Permanent. Not going to get better. Temporarily means maybe change. So if someone gives you a permanent job, what does that mean? You're good. Good to go. If someone gives you a temporary job, what does that mean?
Sometimes.
Flexible.
Flexible. Maybe you work this month, next month maybe no work. Temporary. Permanent and temporary. Letter C says number of qualified disabled veterans. What is a veteran? What is a veteran?
Old man. Veterans.
Doesn't have to be old. Veteran.
Military.
Has left the military.
Left.
What is the military?
Defense.
Army.
Like what? Army.
Yeah, army.
Air Force,
Air Force.
Navy, Coast Guard. People, men and women, who have been in the military service and said, I'm done, I retired, or I don't want to be there anymore, and they're out. That means they are a veteran. A veteran. Those of you that were here last November know that there was a holiday called Veterans Day in November. Veteran. And disabled veteran. That means someone who has been in the service and is disabled. We all know disabled, yes? Yes. Next one is, this is a hard one.
Certificates.
Number of certificates of stillbirth. What is a stillbirth? We all know birth, a baby. But what is stillbirth? The baby is born but not living. The baby is born and not alive. That does happen. It's very sad, very troublesome. And of course it says here, there's instructions for this. Doctor's notes, what is stillborn. Going down here, we skip down to number 10. It says adjusted gross income. Do we know gross income? Do you remember that?
Yes.
Yeah.
What is gross income?
Total.
Total. The gross income is the total amount before things come out. But notice here it says adjusted. So adjusted means it's fixed a little bit to decide what is going to go into gross income. What does it include? So it's adjusted. So there's a form here that it will tell you on your 1040, when you have a job, you will see the 1040, and on the 1040 will tell you, it says adjusted gross income. You take it right off of that. And then go down here to, we'll skip down here to number 15. No, let's go to 14. Income subject to tax. Okay, it will tell you which income is taxable. Then go down here to 15, exemption allowance. It told us up above, for each person, the exemption is how much money? Remember, what's the figure? $1,500 for exemption. Add them up, and then you subtract that and get taxable income. Taxable income, yeah. So gross, take away exemptions, taxable income. Now remember, this is for the tax form, but we talked about this for paycheck, and this will be on that test you're going to have on Monday.
Deductions.
What's this sign? What is this sign? Minus. Take away, deductions,
Net income.
gives net income.
Negative.
Take this with you if you like. You don't have to, but it's the real form, and if you have a job, it's coming up, April 15th, sooner than we think. A lot of strange things in here. Most people now these days do it online on the computer. Let's do something pleasant. In my house, my wife does the taxes, and she hates it. And she's good with numbers and details, so she does it. But every year, it's always changing and becoming more stressful. What does this mean? What does that mean? What does this mean? So let's do something fun. And take one, pass one. I think this is fun because I like coffee. Anyone here like coffee? Anyone here not like coffee? If you don't like coffee, I'm sorry. We'll still do this.
Let's go flat.
Take one, pass one. I forgot something this morning.
Nothing.
I have.
Yeah, أول على الكود هواي أنا ما
Before we start, I forgot to bring this up, but I like to share information that is out there. Some important things that we need to always keep in mind. This one,
vaccine.
this is a noun, a vaccine. A vaccine. It's a medicine, not for someone who is sick, but what? To protect from getting sick. So, for example, when you have kids, when they're little babies, they go to the doctor and they get vaccinated. Medicine to keep them from getting sick. And the one for us adults, oh my gosh, so many different vaccines. We all know COVID.
Yes.
COVID vaccine. For people that are older like me, the doctor says, you should get a vaccine for pneumonia. We know pneumonia, lung disease, infection of the lungs. RSV, it's similar to pneumonia, but it's a respiratory virus. Vaccine. The one that's in the news right now is one that is it can be very dangerous. It's called measles. Do you know measles? Measles. Maybe you've never seen it, because people have gotten vaccinated for measles. Measles is a virus that makes your skin red, like little itchy bumps, fever, it affects hearing, if it can, eyes. When kids get measles, they can be very sick, So usually when kids are still babies, they go to a doctor or pediatrician. Do we know pediatrician? What's a pediatrician?
Doctor for children.
Children's doctor.
Yeah.
And they get a vaccine for measles. Measles disappeared in Michigan. The last case in Michigan was in this year. In 2019, there was a case of measles in Michigan. 2021, nope. 2021, 2, nope. 2023, and now in 2024, a case of measles showed up in Oakland County. Do you know Oakland County? No. Oakland County. What county are we in? Wayne County. Do you know 8 Mile Road?
Yeah.
On that side, that's Macomb County. That side is Oakland County. Cities in Oakland County are things like Farmington, Ferndale, Royal Oak. These are Oakland County cities. Somewhere in that county, there's a case of measles. Some people are forgetting to take their kids, and this is a child, by the way. This child had come from on a plane, they didn't say where. This kid was traveling and brought measles back to Michigan. How easy is it to get measles without a vaccination? Very, very easy. So for example, there are certain viruses, like a cold. That's a virus. COVID, that's a virus. It can be dangerous. But measles, 90%. 90%. So for example, if everyone in this room, nobody, all of you, nobody had ever had a vaccine for measles. And I have measles. 90% of you will get measles. That means only 10% of the people in this room, maybe 2 people, won't get measles. The rest of you will. So what does that mean? If you have children and someone in the classroom in school has measles, it's going to go right through the room at your place of work. So people are forgetting about these. People know about vaccine for COVID, but sometimes people forget about things like diphtheria. These are common in kids in school, and that's why they give vaccines for kids to go to school, because all the kids will be sick in school. The high school, Hamtramck High School, has a clinic run by the Detroit Medical Center. The staff there give immunization to kids and their families. They don't have to go to that school, and they go in and get this vaccine. And if you don't know whether or not you have had a measles vaccine, ask your doctor, and they may give you an extra one. That was in the news today. Doctors and hospitals are very concerned about this. All right, let's take a look here at coffee. And the coffee plant, did everyone get one? Yes? Yes, it did. Did we get everyone? And we're going to read this together, but take a look over here at the words on the back side. Okay? And you can do, if you have read it already, 1 through 9 and 1 through 10 on the back.
Chance.
Wish I had a coffee machine in here.
Good idea.
They have one in there. Back there, it's got those little flags.
No. In my job, we have good coffee machine. Coffee for coffee, but they have good pressure.
Espresso.
No,
Not espresso
no,
machine?
espresso. We put coffee and filter and the machine to water through pressure and hot water.
Hot water.
Make coffee so
Boiling
good,
water.
yeah.
I have a I grind the beans, and then pour the water on, and then it's got a filter press. Then in the afternoon, when I go home, I have espresso.
Capsule?
Pardon?
Capsule.
I have some Yemeni coffee that one of my students brought.
You like it?
Yeah, it's good. I like the Yemeni coffee with milk. Sometimes just black. All right, I know some of you are working on this, but we'll do this together, and we want to read this. So, before we start, we should coffee is one of my favorite things. And so, we have talked before about fact and opinion.
Yeah.
What is a fact?
The real
Fact.
information.
Information you can show, prove, demonstrate. An opinion is
Personal.
what you think. So, for example, when I say, do you like coffee? That's a fact. If you like it, that's a fact, yes. But if I said, is coffee good for you?
The opinion.
That's an opinion. Some say, yes, it is. Some say, no, it isn't. Opinion. Where did coffee first come from?
Where? Ethiopia.
I hear Italy.
Ethiopia.
Where?
Ethiopia.
Ethiopia.
Yemen.
Pardon? Yemen.
No.
They're not really sure, but do you know where Ethiopia is?
Yes.
And Yemen, they're very close together. And so the coffee that was first used for commerce, to buy and sell coffee for people in other places, came from a place in Yemen called Mocha.
Yes.
Mocha was the area where coffee was first bought and sold. And people would carry bags of coffee on camel up through the Arabian Peninsula to the ships and take it to Europe and beyond. And along with those coffee beans that were sold to be made into coffee, they were also used to plant more coffee trees. So when you see Colombian coffee,
You see.
Guatemalan coffee, Brazilian coffee,
Yes.
Indonesian coffee, Hawaiian coffee, all those beans first came from that area around Ethiopia and Yemen. I've noticed that there are a number of new coffee places, Yemeni coffee houses in Dearborn. There's one opening in Ferndale. There's the first one that opened, a Yemeni coffee place, was in Dearborn on Schaefer Road. It's still there.
Yemeni house?
Kawa.
Cow.
Kawa.
حراز. حراز.
I think Kawa was the first one. A restaurant. You sit in there and they make coffee. The guy who owns that coffee place has another one, of all places, on the West Coast in San Francisco. He's the boss, he owns it, and opened up a store in San Francisco. And last Christmas time, I was in San Francisco visiting my daughter, and we went to it. And it was interesting. And the two guys in there that run it, where do you think they're from?
From Yemen?
Their families are Yemeni. But where did they grow up?
Dearborn?
Dearborn.
Because you told me.
Yes. Their families are Yemeni. They grew up in Dearborn, and the guy, they know him. He said, I want to open a coffee shop in San Francisco. So they went out there, and it's a nice place. So we'll start reading together. I always I pick on the guys in the back, but today I'll come up here and start with Ayad. Start us off. Okay, now, I'm sorry once again, I may stop you so that we say it correctly. If Shura is smiling, maybe he's disappointed. Okay, go ahead.
The coffee plant. How many of coffee did you drink? How many cups of coffee did you drink yesterday?
Very good.
Where did the coffee come from? There is a good chance that your coffee come from on the one of these
Countries.
Brazil, Colombia,
Indonesia,
Ivory Coast, or Ethiopia. There are 5 countries.
These five
countries produce most of the coffee in the world today. Brazil produces about half of the world's crop of coffee plants.
Coffee what?
Coffee
Beans. Yes. Notice the word up there, chance means possibility. So if we say, oh, a good chance of rain today. Possibility. Not for sure, but it's possible. A good chance. A good chance. If I said there's little chance, what does that mean? It may happen, but I don't think so. A good chance, a little chance, a small chance. Notice that word produce. We talked about that a couple weeks ago. When you make something, you produce something. If you eat your vegetables, you are eating produce. When you go to Al Haramain and you want some carrots and potatoes, you are looking for produce. If you work in a factory, you produce something. You make something. That word half. Notice that it's LF.
Half.
It's a silent L. Half. Don't try to put an L in there. It won't work. Half. Doesn't work. Half. Yeah. Do we all know where Brazil is?
Yeah.
Where is Brazil?
South America.
South America. It's the big country in South America. It doesn't mention this in here, but the coffee from Brazil is stronger than if you have coffee here, and most of the coffee you have, like Yemeni coffee, is called Arabica. The word from Arabic. The coffee much of it from Brazil is called Robusto. Robusto. Do you know the word robust? It means strong. So there are two types of coffee. One is Arabica and Robusto. It doesn't say this in the story. One of them has more caffeine than the other. Do we know caffeine?
Yes.
Yes.
What is caffeine?
Wake up.
Wake up!
Yeah.
We take some caffeine and wake up. The Robusto is
More
more.
caffeine.
So when you have very dark coffee, that doesn't mean it has more caffeine. You can't see caffeine. It's in your coffee, even if you can go to the store and you can buy caffeine in a tablet. Oh, wake up. Caffeine. Second paragraph. Got it.
The coffee plant is really a small tree with shiny leaves.
Wait. Shiny leaves.
Shiny leaves. A coffee plant grows for about 3 years.
Ladies, please, so I can hear. Okay.
3 years before it produces any fruit. After that, it produces fruit for about 40 years. The coffee beans is the seed of the fruit.
Okay, say.
It's difficult.
Say the next paragraph. Yeah, next paragraph.
It's difficult to pick coffee beans. Machine can do it well, so people pick most of the coffee beans by hand. Workers typically pick between 20 and 40 pounds of coffee beans a day.
The old way to grow coffee plant is under layer,
Large
large tree the
trees.
trees. The trees protect the coffee plant from the sun. The trees are also home to many kinds of birds.
Birds.
On many modern
Modern
from
farms.
farms. However, farmers cut down the trees. They grow the coffee plants under the sun. Large farms can
Wait, hold on. When you get under the sun, boom.
large farms can produce more coffee this way.
Unfortunately,
Unfortunately, the coffee plants on these farms need more water and more
fertilizer.
fertilizer. And without the trees, these birds don't have a place to live.
So it's a little bit of a argument going on. So we spend a lot of time in here talking about the climate and the environment, and this is someone's opinion. Do you think this person that wrote this thinks it's a good idea to cut those trees down? What do you think? I think the person who wrote this thinks it's bad practice to cut down the trees that cover the smaller coffee trees. And that's my opinion of what this writer is thinking about. Notice the word modern that's come up a lot. We talked about this in several ways. What does modern mean?
New.
Like new. So we talked about this before, Shock, before you came. we talked about renting apartments and advertising for apartments. If it says modern appliances, what does that mean? New appliances. Modern equipment. The word unfortunate, what does unfortunately mean?
Sorry.
Bad luck. Good fortune? Yes, something good is going to happen. If I said, unfortunately, it's too cold outside to go for a bike ride. Bad luck for me. All right, go to the second page here. Anyone still working? Ladies are still working? I'll give you 2 minutes before we start. The first part is right from the story. You have to find it. The second part is in a new context, so you have to figure out what does this word really mean. Feel better now. Before we go through with the questions in the back, this is a box of coffee pods. They're little round things, and they go into a machine, and each pod has inside very ground coffee, and it shoots hot water through it to give you an individual cup. But the words I want to show you on, here's the little pod. It's about this big. It says here organic. What does that mean? Organic.
No. Without fertilizer?
Without any chemical fertilizer. So, for example, organic farms don't use anything other than plant life to take care of plants. No fertilizers. And the soil is cleaned of any kind of contamination, metals, things that are dangerous to people. Then the other one I wanted to show you here says fair trade. What does that mean, fair? What does fair mean? Fair. I want to be fair. What does that mean?
You can trust.
If someone is fair, it means they have certain rules they follow. So, in here I try to be fair and have different people read different parts and not just say, oh, one person's so wonderful, oh, everybody else forget it. Fair. So fair trade means, it's a specific term, you may see it for things at the store. It means that when this company, Kirkland is the brand name for Costco. Do we know Costco? Costco is a big store. When they buy this, they want to make sure that the farmers who grew the beans get paid for their work. So fair trade means that the people who actually grew the in this case, coffee beans, got paid fairly for their work, for their product. Fair trade. Also on here it says, I found it before, but anyway, this is Arabica. This is Arabica coffee. I tried to see where it comes from, but I think it's from different places. It says on here, fair trade, but it doesn't say what countries it comes from. This one, there's a little bag in here, and you dip it in water. And it has this word in here. This is a word I don't like with coffee. It's called decaffeinated. What does that mean? What?
Without coffee.
Without what? Decaffeinated. No caffeine.
Okay.
You get flavor of coffee, but no caffeine. No wake up. Yeah. And on here it doesn't tell me once again where it came from. It says a blend of ground and soluble coffees, but it doesn't say what country it came from. So coffee is a very big thing. Hard to grow, which is why coffee is getting more expensive. So let's go over here to, I wanted to bring this up on page 93 where it says down at the bottom, fertilizer.
Fertilizer.
What is fertilizer? Any idea?
Yes. This help trees, plants to grow up good.
Fertilizer is a chemical to make plants grow faster, better, bigger. Fertilizer. There is organic fertilizer. Organic means it comes from plants. Then there's chemical fertilizer that is manufactured in a factory and goes on plants to make them grow faster. So for example, in my backyard, I have a big black tub about this round and about this high. And every day after we cook, and you cut up the carrots and you have little pieces, save that and it goes out into here. And it breaks down and becomes mush, add some dirt to it, some water, and it turns into mush and dirt. And then in the spring, you take that out and put it in your garden. It's fertilizer, but it's natural. Natural fertilizer. We have a big problem with fertilizers here in the USA. Because when people put fertilizer on their grass to make it look nice and green, what happens when it rains?
Come out.
It goes into the sewer, into a little hole in the street. And it goes into the lake. And the fish get the fertilizer. Fish don't like it. And it kills them. But the fertilizer makes that green stuff in the water grow, algae. And you can have a whole lake instead of being a nice blue body of water, it turns green from algae. So let's see, how did we do with this? Let's do the first part and then bring this back tomorrow. Mohammed, next one, number 1.
On money, water,
What's the word?
Money.
You have it? Modern.
Farms, however, farms cut down the trees.
Notice this word, however. It's from the story, but the word however. It's taking a break. When you see however, usually a comma. It means I'm going to give you some other information. Number 2, Salah.
Brazil alone produces about half of the world's crop of coffee beans.
Number 3, Zeni.
It's difficult to make coffee
Wait,
beans.
shh, lady, please, so I can hear. Please. Okay, go ahead, Zeni.
It's difficult to bake coffee beans.
Again.
It's difficult to bake.
Pick. P, please. Please, P. Pick. Okay, number 4.
We will bake most of the coffee beans by hand.
Pick by hand. Pick by hand. Mary?
The trees protect the coffee blend from the sun.
Very good. Good P sound. Excellent. Bashir?
There is a good chance that your coffee comes from one of those
Of these,
5 countries: Brazil, Colombia, Indonesia, Ivory Coast, or Ethiopia.
Ethiopia. The Ivory Coast is on the west coast of Africa. Okay. Next one, Yasmin.
What typically between 20 and 40 pounds of coffee
Coffee beans.
a day.
Very good. Okay, Nadira.
Unfortunately, the coffee plants on these farms need more water and more fertilizer.
Very good. Number 9.
Those 5 countries produce most of the coffee in the world today.
Very good. Okay. Okay, let's go down here to on the bottom and see how we do with that. Number 1.
What country is south of Canada?
Very good. What country? Notice country, T-R-Y, county, no R. Country, county. Okay, what country is south of Canada?
USA.
USA, yes. Okay, number 2.
Colors protect a bird from the cold.
Very good. Number 3, back
Modern
there.
cars have airbags to protect people.
Again,
Modern cars have airbags to protect people.
very good. Okay. Shahan.
Many people make their clothes typically.
Close what?
Many people make their clothes typically.
The word close. Do you see that where it says T-H-E-S? It's pronounced close, like I'm going to close the door. So this is one of that we did talk about in the past, I think before you came. What's the better choice? By hand. Yes. Number 5. Jacques?
How do people take dates from a date plant?
What's the word?
Pick.
Pick. Yes. Number 6, Mohammed.
The date plant.
Palm. The date palm.
No, when you
Wait.
plant
Oh, I'm sorry.
something and half you have 2 equal pieces.
Parts. Oh, I'm sorry. Pieces. Pieces. Half. Everyone half. H-A-L-F. Half. Half.
Yeah.
Calf. What is a calf? Baby cow. Okay. Half calf. Number back up here, number 7. Ahead. 6. I'm sorry. No, 7. Yes.
The 8
Palm.
palm products dates.
Ahead. Produces. What's this word? Palm. Don't try to get the L in there too much.
Cow.
Cow. Pound. Sound.
There is no, unfortunately, that is, she will come
Wait.
Number 8.
Number 8.
Polar bears typically live in cold
Places. Typically. Most of the time. Typically. Number 9, Saeed.
There is no
There is no chance. There is no chance.
No chance.
there is no chance that she will come with us.
Okay. And Muhammad, last one.
I want to go to the party, but chance I need to work.
But
Unfortunately. Oh, too bad. I have to work. Okay. We finished it. See you tomorrow. Tuesday. Have a good day.